Hello, Accounting 315 students. This is an overview of the assignment for Module 4, the Project 1 Guidelines and Rubrics. This is worth 250 points. I want to make sure that you're able to do well, and I also don't want you to spend a lot of extra time on something spinning your wheels, so I want to make sure you understand what needs to be done. Again, 250 points is a lot of points. So let's go ahead and look at it. When you open up the guideline and rubric, it gives you a fairly long overview of what's going on, and it gives you some supporting material, and it also gives you a template, and so you'll need to get that template. You already probably have the supporting material. The idea is you're going to go back to the onboarding requirements that you have from earlier when you did the flow chart, so you're going to need that again. This is the same Project 1 new hire procedures that you used for the flow chart, so you might want to reacquaint yourself with the information. And we're going to be using that for the presentation, which is basically a PowerPoint presentation. So you've been tasked with giving a presentation to the CFO in order to explain the onboarding process and perform an analysis of the current situation within your organization. We are going to use that milestone 1 assignment with the flow chart that you have that available for when you start this assignment. In addition to the new hire procedures, there's also a tutorial showing you how to use speaker notes, but I'm going to show you in this video also. This is the template. You'll need that. And as far as the directions go, let's go ahead and go through the template. This is what you need to submit, the presentation, and you can use this template. That's what it's designed for. Make sure that anything that's in brackets you replace with the information that you're going to present. In other words, this is just there to help you. If it's in brackets, if you include that with your final presentation, that would look kind of awkward in trying to present that to the CFO. Also, every single slide needs to have speaker notes. Now, notice it says to include speaker notes in the form of a PDF file, but you do not need to do that because the speaker notes will be in the PowerPoint presentation. That's way better. So you can ignore the PDF file and just provide me with the PowerPoint presentation with the speaker notes. To get the speaker notes, all you do is you just kind of grab this, if they're at the bottom, and if they're not showing, you just slide that line up and you can add the speaker notes. You need these for every single slide because this is your presentation. Basically, you're going to show things on the slide. Usually you show brief information such as bullet points. And then here is where you would put what you would explain, what you would say to the audience, in this case the CFO. You start out and you go through each of these. So the first part is illustrate in the form of a flow chart. Now this is the flow chart that you did earlier. So because the process is so long, you probably have more than one PowerPoint slide for the flow chart. So go ahead and you could put illustrate, and you could put the following slides will be the flow chart for the onboarding process, and then add to it however many slides are from that first assignment that you submitted. If you got the first assignment 100, correct, and you got 100% points, then you can just submit what you sent to me. I might have made some suggestions. You can include those, but you will do fine if you submit it. However, if you didn't get full credit, then you're going to need to update it, incorporate what needed to be done to bring it up to par. If you don't update it, then you're going to still get points removed for this element of the presentation. Then you're going to go through and you're going to explain the different parts. Explain how the payroll onboarding processes function with the accounting information system. Again, use the information provided as well as any kind of research that you do to help you answer that question. So the information provided would be the procedures as well as what you found on your own to help you to determine how you want to approach the procedures for that element. Here's where you talk about the inputs and outputs, key transaction cycles. Then you would want to go through and you would answer this. Don't answer it here. Put the key elements and then answer it completely in the speaker notes. If you don't put speaker notes, you won't get full credit for this. Then we go into benefits. Identify at least 2 benefits. So you might put a couple of benefits here. It says at least 2, so 2 or more. Then explain them in more detail and reference the information that you got, where that came from. There are several sections: benefits, rationale, drawbacks, rationale. And then when we get to the last two slides, these are summary slides. So as you can see, there's a lot here. This is basically, it says summary A through D. What does that mean, A through D? And the next one, E through H. Let's look at that. That just means when you look in the instructions, it says A through D. These are the four things you want to summarize, and then the next four things you want to summarize. So what you can do is just put bullet points. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. You can put bullet points for these areas, and then just explain a sentence or two for each of these, because it is a summary. The way I believe that summary should be done, you should only need a slide for this. If you want to break this out into more slides, if you feel like you want to do two per slide, you want to do A and B, then C and D, and then the same thing for the next summary, you want to do E, F, G, H, and different slides. That's fine with me. I'm not going to worry too much about that. Just keep in mind that the summary, you just need to make it a summary, right? So do some bullet points, and then just do a sentence or two on each one to kind of pull everything together. To finish up here, what to submit. It says to submit your PowerPoint presentation. It will probably be more than 12 or 14 slides because of the flowchart might be a lot longer. And that's fine if it's more. So provide the PowerPoint presentation with the speaker notes in the PowerPoint presentation, and then do the last slide as your references. Make sure you cite the use of references in the slides if you use them in the slides. You do not need to do a separate PDF file. Do not need to do that, because if you put the speaker notes in the PowerPoint presentation, I'll be able to more easily follow along what you're doing, and it won't add anything to it anyhow. Then when you go through, you have the different elements. Make sure you cover each of these elements: overview, illustrate, process. So for overview, you need to add a slide, provide a high level overview of the onboarding process, meaning do an introduction, and then your summarize section, then articulation of response, meaning if there's any kind of grammar errors, then this is where that would be taken into consideration. And then your citations and your references. Are those done correctly? Do you have references? And then did you cite the use of those references in the work? So one thing that they did include in the template was kind of an introduction slide. What are you going to give your presentation on? Shouldn't be too hard to do that. So overall, that's what needs to be done. Present this PowerPoint presentation with speaker notes using the flowchart as your beginning or starting point. Make sure you update your flowchart so that you've fixed anything that needed to be fixed from that first submission. And that should get you through that assignment. If you have any other questions, though, don't hesitate to ask me.